we cannot have a say-so. We cannot show emotion. We have to sit here and act as if we do not care about anything that anybody says.
When you got people that come out, Chicago flip red, been standing on business in Chicago. Listen to them. When they say, don't leave, don't leave. There was too many people in the room for them to come do something.
You can't have a voice. They don't want you to speak up with the injustice that's happening in the black community.
I don't think that it's a good look for an alderperson to hit law enforcement officers. I don't think that she belongs in this position. The bottom line is she's an activist.
Since Supermayor Tiffany Hayard got the boot, you think things will calm down in the south suburbs, but nah.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Getting up at press conference, talking about nothing. Learn the laws. I tell y'all that all the time. Learn from me. But because I'm younger than all y'all think y'all can't learn from me, huh?
Just 15 minutes away, and Harvey, Mayor Christopher Clark, says, you know what? Hold my gavel. What you're about to see is some straight up deja vu. A mayor obsessed with control, silencing critics, and even having his own alderwoman arrested multiple times. So today we're going to dive into the latest mess coming out of Harvey, Illinois, where democracy shows up, but definitely got kicked out of the room for clapping. Let's get into it.
Yeah, absolutely, Scott and Don. What a show indeed. Let me set the scene for you as well as for our viewers. Mayor Christopher Clark was not playing any games. He warned attendees in advance if there were any disruptions at tonight's meeting that he would indeed kick everyone out of the meeting, and that's exactly what happened. Take a look at tonight's city council meeting. Harvey residents once again frustrated with Mayor Christopher Clark's practices, calling them, quote, illegal, unfair, and unjust. The room packed with supporters of Second Ward Alderwoman Colby Chapman. I'll tell you why shortly.
So let's just get some ground rules if you haven't been familiar with this story. So this is Harvey, Illinois, not exactly the first place you think of when someone says a hotbed of political chaos. It's kind of similar to Dalton, where there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of issues in the area. And this is not just about one chaotic meeting either. Mayor Clark has a string of controversies. So from alleging retaliation against city employees who question his decisions to accusations of shady financial moves, this man has built a track record that is basically rivaling the super mayor.
Tension in suburban Harvey continues to grow. Residents taking their fight to the street in a peaceful protest.
Where are the licenses?
Finally, outside Harvey's municipal center, residents holding signs. One of them saying, quote, Mayor Clark is worse than Tiffany Hayard.
Damn, they're not playing around with that one. There have been concerns about contracts going out without proper oversight, politically motivated firings, and the aggressive policing of city council meetings, as you guys are going to see in a couple of seconds, all adding to the growing narrative that Clark's more interested in control than community. And we cannot forget about the public outcry over closure of certain services, local programs being quietly stripped away, or the alleged mishandling of city funds some watchdogs have been trying to investigate. So a lot of people believe that this is not a random situation. It's a formula: control the narrative, silence critics, and consolidate power. That's why the heat is rising. The mayor is not just dealing with the pushback, he is creating it. And every controversy adds another log to the fire that's slowly burning away. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know that we covered Mayor Christopher Clark a few times. And like I said before, some folks even say that Harvey is worse than Dalton. And considering what we have seen for the super mayor, that is saying a lot. Christopher Clark, who clearly missed the memo on what public service means, has turned these meetings into hostile territory for anyone with a question, a complaint, or even a slow clap. So this last meeting, it was packed. Most of them were there to support Second Ward Alderwoman Colby Chapman, and you guys are going to see exactly why they're supporting her in the first place. Let's continue to check it out.
Now, during public comments, residents asked for transparency on spending. They complained about water bill increases without notification. They also said their rights to address concerns were being censored. Mayor Clark cleared the packed room about 20 minutes in after someone began clapping.
And again, I encourage you all to speak up and stand up and consider to come to meetings. Because things are happening and it's under our nose, and that is not right, that is not democracy. If it continues, there needs to be a change to the administration.
All right, guys, let's get up. We're going to go now.
Can you stand on recess for 10 minutes, please?
Y'all can do whatever you want to do.
Tornadoes, we have to stand outside until he feels that he can come back in. And it's usually because people leave. So then that means we don't have to deal with either you guys gone, you don't want you guys to put this out so that the world can see.
They work for you, and it's not the other way around. They work for you. It is not the other way around. They work for you. You pay their salary. Period. We ain't fucking intimidated. They pay y'all salary. Open this damn door. That's wrong.
You cannot clap with Mayor Christopher Clark. He is not playing. If you guys been checking out Dalton and a lot of those meetings way back in the day, that had a chief by the name of Louis Lacey, and he did not like any clapping either. He wanted to clear the room if people were going to continue to make noise, you know, show any level of emotion, maybe just show some enthusiasm. Being in these meetings, maybe you want to clap, maybe you want to cheer when someone says something that's you agree with. But apparently this type of thing doesn't happen in these meetings. Clark does not deal with it at all. Like what the reporter said earlier, he does not play around. Because Mayor Clark is already on high alert. He warned everyone that if there was going to be any distractions, he'll shut it all down. And then someone clapped. Clapping. Yeah. The same thing folks do when they see a kid graduate, or maybe when the waiter finally brings you wings. But in Harvey, that's a felony, apparently.
We cannot have a say-so. We cannot show emotion. We have to sit here and act as if we do not care about anything that anybody says.
You can't have a voice. They don't want you to speak up with the injustice that's happening in the black community. They're displacing us out of our communities. They're taking our homes.
So this is a very interesting part of the story. So this is what I call the real core of the story. It's not really about the clapping or just even being a little loud. It's about control. It seems like there's a pattern here, shutting down any form of public expression unless it's probably praise for the mayor. If you dare show frustration, you're out. And this strategy of controlling the room is always a terrible idea, especially when you are a public servant. Leaders are supposed to serve the people, not police their emotions. Clapping, cheering, even groaning. That's democracy in action. It shows people that are engaged. It shows that they care. And when you strip that away, you're not creating order. You're just creating resentment. You're going to create chaos. So what Mayor Clark is doing is not just tone deaf, it's dangerous, because when people feel that they can't speak up, they either shut down or explode. And in a town that's already on edge, treating every passionate response as a threat just pours more gasoline on the fire. Trying to control everything doesn't mean you're leading. It means you're clinging. Real leadership is being able to sit through criticism without calling the cops. It means you can hear hard truths and still show up for the next day. But it looks like Clark's approach, throwing everyone out for clapping, is a textbook example of how insecure leadership turns public service into basically personal protection. And let's not forget, the louder the silence gets in that room, the louder the anger will be outside of the room. You cannot mute a community forever.
I don't like it. I'll be frank, I don't like it, but what I would like...
You don't like what? What don't you like?
I don't like the fact that there's so much disruption and we're not able to take care of city business.
Oh, I'll put a little clip of that Alderman Tyrone Rogers. He is a big fan of the mayor. And if you talk back when he's talking, he will scream at you as well. I guess it's okay when Tyrone does it, but not when the residents do it.
144th and Halsted was deemed uninhabitable by professional, certified code enforcement officers. Not the police department, not the fire department. Now, for example, hear me good, and I didn't interrupt you, and don't interrupt me. Now, hold on, man.
I want us to keep it civil. Okay. I would appreciate, we'll hold your time on this.
Okay.
We would appreciate it if you would refrain. When everyone got up and did their public comment, it was nice, it was easy, and we listened. Please do the same. Thank you.
And take a look at this cell phone video now viral on social media. Second Ward Alderwoman Colby Chapman being physically removed by Harvey police during a council meeting last month. She says officers bruised her arms in the process.
That resolution number is 4005.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a resolution approving a redevelopment agreement for Blue Crest Estates LLC. This resolution approves a redevelopment agreement between the City of Harvey and Blue Crest Estates for the purpose of rehabilitating black property located at 60 East 155th Street, Harvey, Illinois. Chair will entertain a motion to approve. There's a motion by the third, a second by the sixth. Is there a debate?
Yes. Call the question.
There's a motion to call the question.
This is so, Ms. Allen, unfortunately.
Is there a second?
Ms. Smith had called the question.
Is there, you are out of order. You are out of order.
Ms. Allen.
You are out of order. That's the second time. We are not going to continue to call you out of order. And please do not allow the disruption. We are not going to disrupt this meeting.
Disruptive, Mayor.
Is there a second?
Why are you all moving?
This is the last time I'm going to ask, and then after that I'm going to ask for a motion for censure and removal.
That is unfortunate that Ms. Allen can't make a discussion.
The chair will entertain a motion to censure and remove the second ward alderperson from the meeting.
There's no democracy in that. And the people
we have a motion and a second for
an opportunity for the minority voice.
There's a motion for censure. There's a second.
Ms. Allen, they don't want to home at 60 East 155th Street. Ms. Davis, the mayor, I think that's important, but I stand with you.
And the third.
Understand.
Point of order. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Hearing none, because they don't have votes. Please escort the second ward alderwoman from the council chambers. Thank you.
Don't touch my stuff. We should know that from the lawsuit.
Don't y'all think y'all get a little bit aggressive?
Hey! Don't keep your hands on. Don't put your hands on.
Necessary.
DC.
Stop.
Get it all on video. Why are you putting your hands on?
Thank you. So, there was, and there still is, Chief.
Chapman was trying to address the mayor about a resident's property being sold, but Mayor Clark would not acknowledge her, saying she was out of order.
Alderman Colby Chapman is becoming the face of resistance in Harvey, and she just keeps getting shut down. She's trying to speak up about a property that was allegedly being sold behind her residence back. It's been pretty crazy, and obviously she got physically removed from this. You see her arms bruised. Her mother was arrested too.
Chapman and her mother were arrested and later charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. The alderwoman herself was also charged with battery. Mayor Clark saying she hit the officer during the arrest.
I don't think that it's a good look for an alderperson to hit law enforcement officers, and I think that that's one of the stories here that need to be taken care of, because the simple fact is what she did. I don't think that she belongs in this position. The bottom line is she's an activist.
I don't see a hit, maybe a little bit of a bucking, kind of like a little, but I didn't see a strike, as he said. I mean, if she struck the officer, that other charge would be basically striking a police officer. So I didn't see that. You let me know in the comments below if you thought that Colby assaulted a police officer. I didn't see that. She probably did a little bit of a pushback, but I didn't see a strike. I mean, her arm looked pretty bruised compared to anything that may have happened with any of the police officers.
She wants to be the man and fight against the man. She wants to be the government and fight against the government.
I did not hit an officer, push an officer on my way out of the council. Nobody should have to ingest physical behavior simply for an inquiry. And unfortunately, I digested that. But the bruise has gone away. The memory never will. And I'm simply pushing forward.
She's tall. I wonder how tall she is. I wonder if she played basketball. But anyway, that's not really important right now. So this is not just a personality clash. According to Chapman, this is retaliation. Chapman speaks up, and instead of the debate or discussion or compromise, as most of these are supposed to be, even with the mayor, they need to come together, try to figure out what's going on. But instead of having those debates, having those discussions, she gets the squad of cops pulling her out of there. She's been arrested twice and been kicked out of 3 meetings. You know who else gets that kind of treatment? Protesters in authoritarian regimes, not elected officials in a U.S. suburb.
And after attendees were put out of the meeting, about 20 minutes past, they were let back in. The meeting resumed for about 30 minutes or so, and then it promptly ended. We will tell you that this is Chapman's second time being arrested, her third time being put out of a meeting because of disorderly conduct claims against her. We do know that Chapman and her supporters are continuing to call for federal investigation into the township's practices, and Mayor Christopher Clark himself. As the latest from Harvey, Nate Rogers, Fox 32 Chicago.
So shout out to Fox breaking this down. The one thing they didn't really discuss the situation with the house in this news clip about taking away their homes. So this is what exactly is going on. A house being sold for $2,000. So this is where the real fire starts. The residents aren't just mad that the mayor is acting like he's the king of Harvey. They're mad because of what he is doing with people's homes. So a senior's property was reportedly sold to a private investor for $2,000. $2,000. That's way less than I pay in rent right now in Brooklyn. And that's probably less than what some folks pay for rent in a 1-bedroom apartment in Chicago. Imagine your family home, the one that you lived in for decades, suddenly gets snatched and sold off for pennies on the dollar to a private investor. No warning, no public input, just gone. And when someone in city halls tries to raise questions about it, they get silenced and kicked out, or worse, arrested. How is that even possible? Well, it starts with distressed property laws, tax liens, and murky real estate procedures that most residents don't even know exist. In cities like Harvey, where government transparency is already a joke, has become all too easy for certain officials or insiders to exploit the system. If a homeowner falls behind taxes or deemed delinquent, the city can legally auction off that home, sometimes without notifying the residents in a clear or timely manner. And because the property values in these economically challenged areas are already pretty low, homes can sell for shockingly small amounts, like $2,000. But that doesn't mean it's ethical or just or done in the community's best interest. It's just a loophole that's being abused, a fast track for outside investors to swoop in, buy low, and potentially flip for profit, while longtime residents are left homeless or blindsided. This isn't just bad policy, this is economic displacement dressed up in illegal paperwork. When city leaders don't provide clear answers or protections, it starts to feel like they're in on the game. That's why people in Harvey are pretty mad, not because of someone lost their home, because it feels like the system is rigged and those in power are the ones pulling the strings. I mean, I think in that situation, if you are going to start auctioning off someone's home, if they are behind in taxes, at least they should know about it. At least should be some kind of time saying, hey, you're falling behind on certain things. You got to get up to speed and pay these taxes, or your home is going to be taken from you. Something, at least in my opinion. But let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with this situation, or do you believe that the home was sold legally and it is what it is? Let me know in the comments below. But despite all the chaos, a lot of Harvey residents aren't giving up. Just similar to Dalton, they're showing up for these meetings. They're demanding answers, including Chapman, and they're calling for outside help, federal help. So that's where we are right now. Folks are literally asking the feds to step in, because if the local leaders are ignoring you, arresting you, and selling your neighborhood out from underneath you, what other option do you have? So this wasn't just some messy meeting. This is systematic rot. This is a warning sign, and this is why civic engagement matters. Similar to a lot of the politicians we talk about on this channel, Mayor Clark seems to be obsessed with the idea of order. But what he really means is obedience. No pushback, no passion, just some quiet nods while he runs the show. And listen to what he says about Chapman.
And I think that that's one of the stories here that need to be taken care of, because the simple fact is what she did. I don't think that she belongs in this position. The bottom line is she's an activist. She wants to be the man and fight against the man. She wants to be the government and fight against the government.
That quote tells you everything. He doesn't see Chapman as a public servant. He sees her as a threat to his power. And when power is threatened, the reaction tells you a lot. You either listen and adjust, or you can call the cops and hit the eject button, and you can see which one he picked. So Dalton had the super mayor, Harvey got the supreme ruler, and both stories remind us that small towns can have a big issue with corruption, and a lot of it doesn't make the front page. We will continue to check out what's going on with this situation, obviously with Harvey, just like we did with Dalton and other parts of the south suburbs. We're still there. We're still covering it. So let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments below. And if you like this type of content, please hit the subscribe button. We are near, I mean, we're very, very close to 100,000 subscribers. It's crazy. It's crazy how this has gone, but let's continue the momentum. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I see you guys in the next video.